welcome back. Today I'm working on this building. I've said in some previous videos what this was and what my plans are for it. Give you a quick rundown if you're just tuning in. This was a farrowing house for sow pigs to have their littlings, and this ain't been used in about getting close to 25 years, I guess. This farm, Dad bought it back in '90, and then me and my wife bought this farm off of him back last year. He's not had no hogs since, I think he quit in '94 or '95, and buildings ain't been used for nothing, and I'm changing some things around and making it useful for me. Of what I'm doing is I'm going to turn this into a shop. All this dirt and stuff right here was all piled up around here. I've dug all this out already, and I'm putting it down here below the building. I've done took this wall out right here. There was a walk-through door right there, and I've done took all that out. I've got some pictures of how it was, and some pictures of me taking the wall and stuff down, the floor and stuff up. I'll put them in this video. This building has a pit under it, or in it, I guess. It actually has two. There's one here and one here. I've done got pretty much all the floor took out on this side, and part of the floor took out on this side. I'm going to finish taking this out in a little bit. But my plan is from where we are right now, where this concrete walkway is to the ceiling, is about 8.5 feet. These pits are about 5 feet. And so my intentions is to cut all this stuff out, and then I'll have about 13 foot of height in here and make this a shop. What I'm going to do is I've done got my marks made. Right there's one, and then there's another one over here that I'm going to cut and square all this up and cut it back. You can see that line that I've got right there with that side wall on both sides. I'm going to take all this out, and I'm going to take this tunnel out, or this walkway tunnel. There's a tunnel down through there, and what this was for is there was actually right here, there was a right there's the top, there was another little concrete tunnel right here, and there was a fan here on the end. And what that was for was the fan would turn on and it would pull the manure fumes out of the building, and it would come through this tunnel. So I'm going to take all this stuff out, tear all this out, all this concrete. And I also said in a video, this little building right here was the nursery for the little pigs once they was weaned. And I'm doing it kind of the same way as this one. It has two pits in it also, but what I'm doing there is I can't dig down like I can here to get the grade right to get into the building. So what I'm going to do here is I'm taking the floor up out of there and taking all this concrete and stuff that I'm getting from here and filling those pits up. And I think I can have about 10 foot of height in there just to put some few smaller equipment and tractors and things like that in there, because the way it is now, it is no use to me whatsoever. But once I need to get the dozer down here, and I just ain't done that. Everything that you see right here that I've done so far as digging, I've done with the backhoe. But I'm going to go from this old barn over to the feed lot and cut all this down. There's a big hump right here. It's kind of hard to see, probably, especially on the camera. But there's a hump right here. So I think if I go from the barn over to the concrete there at the lot and kind of feather everything back out that way, I don't think it's going to be real bad right here. And take some of this right here also. I don't think it's going to be real steep, and it ain't too bad right now. I'm taking all this dirt that I'm digging up and I'm putting it down here. And my plan eventually is I'm going to dig all the dirt down from beside this building. There's about 5 foot of dirt right there. Take all that dirt and push it down here, and I think I can get a pretty good size level spot all the way through here. And my intentions later in the future is to build a shed off the side of this building. But for now, my main focus is just getting this to where I can use it. One thing that I have done already is this building is 2x4 stud. This building is studded like a house. So there was 2x4 studs along through here, plywood on this side, tin on the out. So the only strength to this building in the side shear was the plywood. So what I have done is I have took some of this angle iron right here that I have gotten. This stuff is 3" by 5/16 galvanized. They changed some angle iron out here on this cell tower a few years ago when I was able to get a bunch of it. But anyway, I have took and welded all this together. I have concrete anchored this to the floor, and then I have put big lags through the wall into the studs, and that's going to help support the side shear on this building right now. I've got it on each side. Right there is the other one. My plan is I'm going to go up here in each corner, and there's 2 studs in these corners nailed together in an angle shape. And I'm going to go up here and pull the tin back, and I'm either going to make me a plate, or I may just take some chain and wrap around both of them studs and anchor it to it and come through the wall up here at the top through this angle iron. And then I'm going to get me some cable, and once I get all this floor and stuff cut out and get down to the actual pit floor, I'm going to get some cable and tie up in each corner and come down in the bottom in the floor and fix me a bracket with a chain on it, and I'm going to put a boomer on the end of that cable and make me an X brace with that cable, and then all I got to do is just unhook a boomer, move the cable out of the way, and then I've got full access to the door. But I think this will be okay the way it is now. I've used 5" concrete anchors down through the floor, and the way this foundation was, the wall, we had 8" block from the foundation up, except for the last run of block. They used 4" just for the wall. You can see here where they built the wall on top of that 4", and you've got this little gap right here for water and stuff where it wouldn't rot out the studs and the plywood. So the way I've got this, it is actually going into the concrete blocks. Also, most of them is got concrete in them. But anyway, I've got me a saw buried, so I'm going to see if I can't get the wall cut. I got to cut this side over here and over here, and I'm going to cut the floor right across through here on both sides. and I'm going to make a line right across through here to where I'm hoping that I can take the backhoe and bust all this up and it'll all come up. Then when I get that done, there's another wall here I'm going to have to cut to get in here to the pits. Now, these pits still have some manure in them. This one had some water in it. There is pipes coming in. You can see one right there. There's two on each side. There's one here, one on up there. There's one on this side there, and another one up there. Them was so when there was hogs in here and you need to clean out the manure, you could stick your hose in on your manure pump and pump these pits. Now this side is pretty much dry, but this side was had some water in it. And reason being is one of the caps was missing on the outside, and the rainwater off the roof just filled this up. But I pumped that out yesterday. But there's some trash in here that I'm going to have to get picked up that's blowed in here, and once I get that far. But anyway, I'm going to see if I can get this saw started and see if I can't make some dust fly. Okay, here's what I've got. I've got this line cut all the way, and it is pretty much through. I don't know if you can see down that crack or not. It's pretty much all the way through, except for, I don't know, the last couple feet. So it can't lack much there. Right here where this walkway goes, I do have that cut all the way through. This line is a couple of inches. It's not all the way through. I'm hoping whenever I start to prise up, it'll break right there. And I've got this one cut as deep as it will go, which is about 5 inches or so. So it shouldn't like much breaking either. What I've got to do, I've got this line cut, and I've got that line cut. So what I've got to do is I've done this back of this, and they have got these walls in here backfilled with sand. So what I'm going to try to do is see if I can get the backhoe and knock this wall out, see if I can get this floor popped loose. And then I've got to get in here, dig all this sand out, and then cut this back wall to where I can get that. But I've got to get in here to do that. So that's what I'm gonna try to attempt now, is see if I can get this popped up. So here's what I've got so far. I've gotten all this cut off, some of that tore off. I got this back wall off down to the floor, and got it pretty much cut off here. There's still a couple pieces here and there that I'm going to have to get cut off, and I still got to get all this sand and stuff out where it ain't going to come out in my floor. But I've got it now to where I can start loading this manure. I've got the spreader over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start scooping this up, and when I get back here to this floor, this is how I took this section out. I was able to reach across once I took this end wall out. I've got this floor cut in 4 sections, and all I got to do is just get under it with the loader, tie a chain on the far end, and pick up, and I can take the whole thing out, and it'll be about 12 or so feet long. And then I can take it over here and burn it, because I don't want none of that stuff. It's in bad shape, and I just don't want it. So right now I'm going to see if I can't get this backhoe and see if I can go down in there and start scooping some of this manure up and getting it loaded. This bucket is 7 feet, and this in between here is like 7'4", so it's going to be tight. So I've went as far as I can go. Now my next step is to get this floor out of here. Another section. Keep going. Take another section out. You know what? It ain't long enough. So that's how I'm doing that. I'm gonna keep trying to load some of this manure and tearing this floor up, and I'll catch up with y'all later. So we're into the following day. I worked down here last night to about 9 o'clock or so, and this morning I had to load up a load of corn and take it off, and I come back and I finished cleaning out this pit here. It's I'm still gonna once I get all this stuff done, there's still a lot still on the floor, but I'm gonna take and pressure wash all this and scrape all this out. But my next chore, I guess, is to try and get this other side done and do it the same way. I hauled, with that spreader right there, I hauled two full loads out of here. So they were still quite a bit in here, and it was kind of a chore, because like I said, this side here had a lot of water in it that I just pumped the top off, and it was real soupy, so it was real hard to do. You can see where I've lost a bunch backing back out of here, but Right here is one of these pipes right there, and there's another one up here. These pipes go outside. I've got to plug them off, but them is what was used to pump these pits. Like I said, there's two on the other side also. They go outside and you can stick your hose down in and pump these out. So I've got to plug them off. That way they ain't nothing getting in here. But that's a later thing. I'm going to take and cut the pipe off right at the edge of the wall. But anyway, I'm going to see if I can get this other side over here tore out and get all that cleaned up, and see if I can't start scooping that up too. I don't know how well you can see that. Looks like the building's on fire. I've been in there cutting that tunnel in two. I'm a little dirty. I think I'm going to need a bath. So we're into another day here. I worked down here last night till about 10 o'clock or so. I got all this tunnel tore out and that I want to tear out. And this morning I come down here and I've gotten the majority of it. There's still some big pieces left, but I say I've got probably half of it or better. I'm wanting to put all this stuff over here in this other building. All this right here that I took up, I did put in there. I did have a section of the floor pulled up and part of the wall took out, and I've been putting over in there. I've got it full, and my main focus now is on this building here. So I'm not gonna try to work on that one at this moment. So for time being, I'm just piling all that stuff up over here kind of out of the way. But what I've been working on this morning, well, moving this stuff, is I'm putting me in a brace here. What I've done this on each corner. Let's see, it'd probably be easier to see it on this side. That moving that ladder. But anyway, I built a angle arm brace right here. It goes almost up to the top. All this is welded together. I've got it anchored to the concrete right here, and it's going down into the block right there too. And then I've got some lag screws going into the studs up through there. I've done that on both sides, and that's going to help on light wind, but on heavy wind, I wanted something a little healthier. We've done this on a couple barns there at home, and this is what I'm doing here, is I have fixed a cable, and I'll show you here in a minute what I've done, but it goes from the top down, and I've took a piece of angle iron and anchored it to the floor here in this corner and bolted me a piece of chain on. I've got me a boomer on the end of this cable. That way I can take it loose real easy and get it out of my way. That way I've got full access to the door. I'm going to do the same thing this direction, but I wanted to get this side done first because 90% of the storms that we have that's bad comes out of the west. So by it being braced this way is gonna hold it from blowing out of the west. But I'll go around here and show you what I've done, and I think it will work fine. I had to take this piece of tin off the side, but what I've done here is this is one of the corner studs. I took a piece of 3-inch angle and drilled me a couple holes in it for some lag screws, and I've got that into the stud, and then I notched this angle and let it come up here on the top seal, the top plates, anchored it in here. I drilled a hole, a 5/8 hole, all the way through the stud, through the angle and through the stud, and through that angle on the inside, that brace that I had already had fixed. And so that bolt comes through right up here at the top, and I took a piece of chain and slipped over the bolt, tightened all that down, and got my top cable hooked on right there. And then I've got it anchored down here to the floor, like I said. And with that cable, that's 3/8 cable, it'll be flexible enough. I can move it out of the way, but still stout enough that I can do, or it'll do what I need it to do. I mean, it's not gonna save this building in a tornado, but it's definitely gonna help. And like I said, I'm gonna do it the other way too, but my main focus was this way because of the wind coming out of the west. So everything's looking pretty good in here. There was some rebar. I have pulled them up. They had, and there's a few more pieces I know underneath that mess. But they had rebar into the concrete blocks and all that concrete together. It was real stout, real tough to get tore down. But I'm going to try to get the rest of that cleaned out today. I'd have done had it cleaned out, but this backhoe, the transmission, when it gets hot, it quits pulling. So I done all I could do, and then when it give up and got hot, I switched into working on this brace. So it's been shut off now for 3 hours or something. So I think I'm going to start it back up and see if I can't get some more of this stuff cleaned out of here. But I got to get my tin put back on this corner here. Like I said, I had to take that loose, and I got to do the same thing over here. I'm going to try to do that. I'm not feeling the best today. I woke up this morning just feeling like crap and had a low-grade fever. My nose has stopped up, and I don't know if it's allergies or if it's where I've been down here with this concrete saw, even though I've been wearing a mask, has anything to do with it or not. But I don't have the giddy-up go like I have had the past few days, so I'm a little slow mover. But anyway, I'm going to do some more things, and I'll catch up with y'all in a bit. So I've got all this cleaned up. I'm standing up here now on top where the walkway used to be, looking down. I've got everything cleaned up. I'm going to take and wash this floor in a few days and try to get it cleaned up pretty good. I've got my braces in here. This right here, I don't know if you can see what I've got here, but I've got them put in on both sides. I've got to put this piece of tin back on the wall right there. That I don't know if you can hear it or not or see it, but it's raining. But this right here is pretty much all I'm going to do to it right now. I'm going to get the floor and stuff cleaned up, like I said. And I am going to put doors on the end. I'm going to put sliding doors. That'll be a video, because the way I'm going to do this, in my head anyway, I think it'll work. It's going to be kind of an interesting setup. But it's a pretty good size shop now. In between these walls right here is about 18 and a half or so feet. And from where I'm standing here now, which is where the end of the shop is going to be, the floor to the end of the door there, is about 45 feet. No, about 50 feet. I was going to leave this part of the tunnel right here for two reasons. One, I've got a set of steel steps that I'm going to use to get down in here from the top, and I was going to use that platform and this wall right here as the foundation for the steps. and I had a thought of coming in here and building a steel frame around this and fixing a heavy door. And since this was already here in concrete, I was going to try to use this as like a storm shelter for down here. But yesterday, when I tore all this out, I took the concrete saw and I come on the outside and I cut the floor all the way through. In the wall here, I cut it as deep as I could on the outside, which was about 5 inches. And I got in here with the saw inside the tunnel all the way from the other end. I come in, and they was, you can see these block right here, they was laid sideways down through there under where each crate used to be. And that was the purpose of that tunnel, is it pulled the fumes out of the manure pit part and out. That was the purpose of that. So I took a fan and hung over one of them holes and had me a light in there to try to keep the dust down as much as I could. I had my mask and stuff on, and this is tight quarters in here anyway. And then with that saw, I didn't get it as deep as I wanted to. I thought if I could just score it real good that it would break and be okay. This side did a little worse than I wanted it to, but that side's okay. But this side has took half of the block all the way down and back probably 3 or so feet. So I may wind up just tearing that down and building, I've got some steel and just build me a frame right there for my steps and stuff, because I still want to, on this side over here, I still want to leave a floor in here. I wasn't going to use this floor, but I was going to build another floor across through here and put some shelves and stuff up there just for part storage and things. And then I'd have a little cubby hole down here to stick some odd and end things, and bring my steps, like I said, off of this side over here. So I may wind up just going ahead and tearing that down, doing something different. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. This is liable to be a little on the long side, but that's going to do it for this one. And like I said, here in a few days, I'm going to wash this floor, and I'll probably bring you back for that. And then whenever I get to building these doors and stuff, I'll bring you back for that. So this building is probably going to be a couple part deal. But one other thing before I go, as you can see here, you know, it's still a pretty good grade coming out of here. But what I'm wanting to do is go all the way over to where that 7700 sitting in that tractor there, to the edge of the lot concrete, to the barn. And I want to go from here all the way up to that concrete. So they're going to take a big portion of this dirt right here out, and it's not going to be that bad. This hump right here, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take some big concrete blocks and sit right here to hold that bank back. And all this dirt that's right here is going, every bit of it. So all that's going to be open, and like I told you in the beginning here, that I was going to fill all that in and maybe try to build a shed on the side of this one day. So my main focus now is just getting it to where I can get something in here and work on it if need be, which I have done. So that's my big thing. Once I get this floor and stuff cleaned up to where I ain't wallering around in hog manure. But I'm going to put some different lights in. The light that I'm going to use, these is LEDs that's in here now. The lights that I'm going to use or going to get is, I'm not real sure what they're called, maybe a fan light. I've got a couple of them, and I really like them. The ones that I've got is a 5 fan with a center light, and the fan part you can adjust and get different pitches and throw light in different directions. I was going to get some LED bar lights like fluorescence and put in here, but since I've gotten these lights, I like them a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 4 of them. I'm going to put 2 here in the front, skip 2, just leave them lights there, and then I'm going to go back here and put 2 more of them, and then regular lights there in the back. And I think it's really going to brighten it up. I don't know yet. I've thought about cleaning these walls and the ceiling up. I do have to work on the ceiling. Right there, the ridge cap had blowed off and it had leaked. I've recently fixed that ridge cap, but it had blowed off and it had leaked, and the plywood's in bad shape and trying to come down. I'm going to screw all that back up, and I'm thinking about just getting some cheap white paint and painting all this, and I think it'll brighten it up a lot. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe, share, and I'll catch you on the next one.